Welcome to Virtual Gardening 101. This is a place where we dig into the digital soil and reap real results. I want to thank you for joining me for another interesting feature. Before I get into today's feature, I want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to all the new subscribers, especially my close family members. YouTube is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and I'm going to need your support going forward. So I just implore you to continue to show me some love by liking the videos, leaving a comment, and also sharing the information. Now, if you're a person who has rose plants in your garden, this feature is tailored specifically for you. In this feature, I'm going to be focusing on two fungal diseases, namely black spot, or some people may call it leaf spot disease, as well as powdery mildew, and also a disease that is caused by bacteria. I will be speaking briefly on how these diseases are spread, and I'm going to be going through each of the disease, and at the end I'm going to give a comprehensive overview as to how we can actually manage them in the garden space. The first disease that I'm going to be focusing on is the black spot, and it is caused by the Diplocarpon rosea fungus. Like many fungal disease, black spots need spare water on plant surfaces, and I'm talking about the leaves, to infect healthy plants like roses. So black spot disease not only affect rose plants, it is common in other plants as well. But for the purpose of this feature, I'm going to be focusing on the rose plants, as I mentioned earlier in the introduction. It is said that the disease is spread by spores, and spores are the small microscopic reproductive particles of the fungus that you cannot see with the naked eye. The spores spread very fast during the wetter times of the year, whenever the time gets rainy, and here in Jamaica it's usually between October or September, thereabout, down towards November, during the height of the hurricane season, when we tend to get a lot of rain. Overcrowded conditions and overhead watering causes the disease to flourish. And even though dry conditions slow the spread, it doesn't stop it altogether. Unlike many fungal diseases, black spot only strike the upper surface of the leaf, and it normally starts out as small spots, as you can see from the pictures shown. And if it is left unchecked, then the yellow spots, or the yellow areas surrounding the spots, will eventually cover the entire surface of the leaf, and over time all the infected leaves will fall off. Up next we have powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is caused by the Ascomycete fungus, and it is one of the easiest to identify. This particular disease affects many plant species across the world, and from the pictures shown you can see that it causes a powdery growth that is white to gray in color on the surface of leaves, buds, young shoots, fruits, and flowers. This fungus grows by sending short food-absorbing projections into the epidermal cells of the plant, and it produces masses of spores. Earlier on I did say that spores are the microscopic reproductive particles of the fungus, can only be seen under the lens of a microscope, and the spores can easily spread to other plants. Unlike some fungus that require moisture for germination, it does not require water in the form of dew, rain, or water from overhead watering to grow. Finally, we have Fungal disease. This is the bacterial disease that generally affects the stem and roots of many woody and herbaceous plants, such as fruits, vegetables, and ornamentals like the rose bean featured here. The bacterium, which is called Rhizobium rhabdobacter, is soil-borne, and it normally enters the plant through wounds in the roots or stems, and it stimulates the plant to grow in a disorganized way. The resultant effects are some knobbly, swellings, or tumor-like galls on the stems, roots, trunk, and even the branches, hence the name. Here are a few tips I hope will prove beneficial to you if you're dealing with any of these diseases. First one I'd recommend is to inspect your plants on a regular basis and remove foliage and other parts of the plant that become infected with disease. And you want to prune your plants. Remove those branches that are crossing or intersecting with each other, because you want to have free flow of air around the branches. As I said, the spores are easily spread, and so you don't want to have them creating an environment that will facilitate the spread. So not having your plants cluttered will allow free flow of air to circulate around the branches and the leaves, etc. You want to avoid late evening watering, especially if you're going to do it from overhead, because water on the surface of the leaf spells trouble for the plant. It contributes to this development and also aids in the spread of the fungus or the disease. And so if you have to water late in the evening because your schedule may not allow you when you're rushing out for work, when you get back home, you can always water the plant, but do so from the base. Don't want to have water sitting on the plant overnight. We know that we cannot avoid water from dew and rainfall, but we can avoid getting water on the surface of a leaf, especially during the drier times of the year. Next step you want to take is to regularly spraying your plants with fungicides even before disease appear, because you want to create a buffer between the plant and the fungus that is circulating around. And you can use sticker spreader along with the spray, because this will allow the spray to be evenly distributed across the surface of the leaf, and it will have a longer residual effect. Most of the fungicides that I have used in the past are in a powdered form, a wettable powder they call it, and the label will give you all the information that you need. Remember to clean your pruning tools, your cicature or your bypass pruner, your lopping shear, after you use them. especially if the plant is infected, because you don't want to be transmitting or transferring disease from from a unhealthy plant to a healthy plant. Don't want to make that mistake. As it relates to the Fungal disease, it's a bacterial disease that is soil-borne, and unfortunately there is no cure for this disease. It is recommended that you remove infected portions, and that is why I started out by saying that you need to inspect your plants on a regular basis and act at the earliest onset of the disease. It's just like you're dealing with cancer. Once you catch it early, then you'll be able to exercise a better control over it. Depending on the level of infestation or the level of spread, you may have to remove the entire plant. And as I said earlier, the disease is soil-borne, and so there are cases where you are encouraged to remove portions of the soil. But I would recommend that you relocate the rose plant to somewhere else. In the fight against these diseases, we need to explore environmentally friendly methods to control them. What am I trying to say? We need to use methods that will give us the result that we desire. And in the end, we end up with little or no adverse impact on the physical environment, which will ultimately affect our health. Based on my research, Bacillus subtilis is one such alternative. It is actually a species of bacteria that is found in the soil as well as the gastrointestinal tract of humans, and it is considered a good bacterium because of its use in the agricultural industry as well as medicine. In agriculture, it is used to suppress plant diseases caused by fungal pathogens, and this bacterium works by colonizing the root zone of plants, where it produces antimicrobial compounds that inhibit the growth of harmful pathogens, and this protects the plant from diseases like powdery mildew. Bacillus subtilis is considered an environmentally friendly alternative to the synthetic fungicides that are out there, because it is not toxic to humans, animals, as well as beneficial insects. And most importantly, it does not have harmful residual effect on plants as well as the soil. I want to thank you for taking the time out to come over to Virtual Gardening 101, the place where we dig into the digital soil and reap real results. This is a new channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you could give it some support by, first of all, liking the content and sharing it with somebody, because the aim is to bring about awareness. I welcome your feedback in the comment section, and you could give the channel a further boost by subscribing as well. Once again, I want to say thank you for stopping by, and I'll catch you in another one.